3 huge points, absolutely crucial. That is a huge win for Arsenal. A massive performance away from home. Not the best performance by the Gunners by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't the greatest performance from Arsenal against a very robust and extremely tough Watford side. But we get the job done. 1-0 to the Arsenal. 3 huge points back into the top 4. And the top 4 is in our hands. If we win our remaining 5 Premier League games, we will secure a position into the Champions League next season, a position that we may already get anyway by winning the Europa League. But we are certainly back to winning ways, and we get a huge result in the process away from home. Welcome back to Analysing Arsenal. These are my thoughts and feelings to the game at Vicarage Road in the Premier League as Watford entertain Arsenal. Yes, it is another Monday night and another Analysing Arsenal on a Monday night. We will have 3 this month. We've already had 1, which was at the start of April, when we played Newcastle. We have our second one here tonight, and we have Leicester on the final Monday in April. But this was going to be a very tough game. Watford are they're a good side, they're a tough side, and it's fair to say that Watford and Arsenal are not the best of friends. And actually, going to Vicarage Road, we lost there last season. It kind of spawned the infamous speech by Troy Deeney. We'll get onto him in just a second, but it's not an easy place to go. And Watford are on the verge of kind of getting a very good, strong position. They could be finishing as high as 6th or 7th is where they are, and they've booked themselves a place in the FA Cup final against Manchester City. So they're in great form, really, it has to be said. And because of them getting into the cup final, you either go one or two ways. Either because you've got a cup final to look forward to, the last few games of the season, particularly if you're one of the lesser sides, you kind of just falter and fall away, or it galvanises you and gives you momentum and spurs you on to get as many points as you can in the final, 3, 4, 5 Premier League games of the season, and then that puts you in good stead for the FA Cup final. And Watford, it has to be said, and this is me being completely and utterly honest, Watford could have got something out of this game. They probably should have got something out of this game. I mean, considering the fact that they were down to 10 men for the best part of 80 minutes, and they still created chances, and we weren't able to kill off the game in the way that you would expect a big side to kill off a game, especially when that lesser side have gone down to 10 men. And I mean, it was a crazy first 10 minutes, really. And going into the game, that first 10 minutes, I was generally worried and generally concerned, because Watford started so strong, so brightly. They were creating chances, though caused us problems. We looked very kind of worried, not necessarily worried, but quite scared, and we were creating our own errors. There was a moment early on in the game where Leno, instead of kicking it up the field, he kicked it out for a throw-in for Watford, and it's just creating unnecessary pressure, really. And I just felt that Arsenal were quite worried, and they looked quite frustrated. And also the fact that Watford Watford's game plan was to get in the face of Arsenal, rattle them, and get them up against the cosh, do exactly what Everton did when we went to Goodison Park in our last Premier League game, and that is to get right in our faces. Don't allow us to play, don't give us any time on the ball, and you'll create chances. And Watford did exactly that. And then we went on a counter-attack, and the ball then went back to Foster, and Foster, I think he just felt that he had much more time on the ball than what he actually had, because as he was going to kind of get the goal kick, to get into motion, to get the ball and get it up into the field, or to pass it out to his right back or his left back, or just to pass it out to the centre back and begin Watford onto another counter attack, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang comes from behind him, and as he's about to kick the ball, Aubameyang gets in his way. It's really clever and strong, smart play from Aubameyang, because Aubameyang just gets it into the back of the net, hits it past Foster. It's an absolutely ludicrous mistake from Foster, and you don't want to see that from a goalkeeper. It's probably, next to scoring an own goal, it's one of the worst things possible to be dispossessed by an outfield player as you're about to commence a goal kick. And Aubameyang just reads it. He reads the play so well in that position because, you know, he can see Foster in not a perilous position, but he's certainly not in the most comfortable position, and then he just uses that to his advantage to go behind Foster, and as Foster's about to kick the ball, he gets a touch and the ball goes into the back of the net. A freak goal, a really, really crazy goal, and a goal that you don't normally see in the Premier League. And despite us being up against the cosh, and despite us being on the back foot and second best for the first 10 minutes, we take the lead. 60 seconds from scoring, Troy Deeney is sent off, and you know, as the title suggests, it's karma for Deeney because, you know, if we go back to October 2017, we lost to Watford by 2-1 at Vicarage Road after taking the lead. Troy Deeney goes on to BT Sport later that day and states that, you know, Arsenal lack cojones, is the exact word he used, but basically saying that Arsenal haven't got any balls and all you need to do is you just need to whack the first one, see how the second one reacts, and just get stuck into them, and they fall through and they fall down. And you know, even though I don't really think he should have really said that, and obviously being an Arsenal fan, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, who the fuck are you, Troy Deeney? Who the hell do you think you are sitting here and mocking Arsenal Football Club when you're playing for Watford? And, you know, no disrespect to Watford, but what have they done? If you look at what Arsenal have achieved, and then if you look at what Watford have achieved, you know, they're not even in the same league, really. But, you know, what Troy Deeney said was absolutely spot on because, you know, that has been a common theme and discussion and a statement that has been, you know, labelled to Arsenal in recent times. We are spineless and all you need to do is get in our faces, don't allow us to play the tippy-tappy one-touch kind of football, and we'll fall down. And we have, and I think we're starting to show a little bit of fight and bottle under Unai Emery, but we still have that in this side. And I think Troy Deeney, I think he was so determined to make it as problematic for Arsenal at Vicarage Road as what many people expected. You know, you expect now when you go to Vicarage Road, when you come up against Troy Deeney, because of the comments that he's made about Arsenal, you expect him to make it, you know, even more difficult than what he would normally do. And, you know, he was running with Torreira, and it was Torreira who was ahead of him. And as he was running to the ball, Deeney kind of, well, he was sent off because he elbowed Torreira in the face. But the problem with that is that, you know, his hands, as he was running, they were in the natural, normal position. You know, when you're running, your arms are kind of there. You could argue and say that his arm was raised and it was a stupid decision by Troy Deeney. And I'm not disputing the fact that it wasn't a foul, because it was a foul. He did elbow Torreira in the face. I just don't think it's a red card. I personally think it's a yellow card. I mean, it was a straight red card, and you know, it wasn't Craig Pawson that, you know, made the decision by himself. He got help from the fourth official, and they were communicated. Referee and fourth official communicated, and I think actually it was the fourth official that ultimately made the decision to give the red card to Troy Deeney. And you know, yes, he did elbow him, but I don't think it was intentional. I don't think, you know, Deeney's first thought was to elbow Torreira in the face. If it was a deliberate elbow, and I think you can see the difference between a deliberate elbow and an accidental elbow. If it was a deliberate elbow, then it is a straight red card, but it wasn't even as if Arsenal were, you know, about to create a goal scoring opportunity. We were in a good position, but the likelihood of the ball being dispossessed was quite high. So, you know, I feel that a yellow card probably, because it was also quite early on in the game, I just felt that a yellow card probably would have been probably the best and probably most likely what was the correct decision. But obviously I'm not a referee, and it was quite fun to see somebody who, you know, slated and essentially took the piss out of Arsenal in October 2017. It was nice to see him kind of get a little bit of his comeuppance ready. And since he made those comments, he's missed a penalty at the Emirates and now been sent off at Vicarage Road. So, you know, it's just, it's what football's like nowadays. You know, you only have to make a comment and then make a mistake, and nobody will now remember that comment. I mean, obviously it will, because it's quite a famous comment, but everybody now will remember, oh, remember Troy Deeney, he got sent off inside 11 minutes. And you think that when Watford went down to 10 men, that you'd think that Arsenal would take the incentive and kill the game. You know, you would expect them to get maybe 2, 3, even 4 goals maybe. But we just didn't do that, and that is what worried me. I mean, I'm so happy that we got the clean sheet. It's quite staggering that, you know, our away form this season has been absolutely ridiculous. Like, and that is ridiculous in a bad way. We've been ridiculous at home for the right reasons, and we've been ridiculous away from home for the wrong reasons. And that is our first clean sheet away from home all season, which is just, you know, that is just ridiculous. The fact that, you know, we haven't kept, until tonight, 1 clean sheet away from home. But Watford, you know, credit to them, because they created chances, and in the first half it was a very even game. You know, yes, we created chances, but I would say the more clear-cut chances fell to Watford. In the second half it was a very kind of cagey affair, you know, apart from the last 10 minutes when Watford stepped up and really caused Arsenal some severe issues, and Arsenal were able to hold on, you know, in those last 10 minutes. From about kind of 50 minutes to 80 minutes, there was a 30-minute spell where Arsenal kind of just killed the game off. We had a couple of chances. Watford didn't really create any clear-cut chances. And then in the end, we got the job done. I mean, I think the game was ultimately won once Troy Deeney was sent off. And I'm just glad that we got that freak goal, because I think had it still been 0-0 when Troy Deeney was sent off, in fact, I don't even think he would have got into that position if the scoreline was 0-0, because Watford were motoring at that stage. They were absolutely motoring at that stage. And I think that goal took the sting out of it, and certainly that red card did. But Watford showed fight, they showed enthusiasm, and on another day they could have got something out of that game, but it doesn't matter now. We're now into the top 4, and like I said, it's in our hands. If we look at the lineups, I was actually quite surprised that Unai Emery went to a back 4, and obviously with Socrates' suspension, Mavropanos came into the side. Now, he made quite a few mistakes tonight. There were a couple of moments where there was one ball that went over the top that fell to Andre Gray, and rather than Mavropanos just sticking to his man and trying to cover his man as Gray went into the kind of into the box and was about to, you know, get the shot away to put the ball into Leno's path and try to cause problems and get that equaliser, Mavropanos fell over, and Gray just used his strength and used his experience to get past him. But that will come with experience. You know, he's not an experienced centre back yet, but you know, there is potential, and he looks quite a promising centre back. But you know, Monreal, Mustafi, Mustafi was almost playing as a right back with Xhaka and Torreira. We look so much better when we've got Xhaka and Torreira, and then Iwobi, Ramsey, Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang. I mean, I probably would have played maybe, I mean, I actually feel that Iwobi's doing quite well at the minute, but I still think we play our best when we play Lacazette and Aubameyang up top. But it sometimes means that we play, you know, in a back 3 rather than in a back 4, and I actually do think we look much more stable and compact as a 4 rather than a 3. I just don't think we have enough, you know, good defensive players, and that will be something that will need to be addressed in the summer, because I don't think that we've got a defence strong enough to have a strong, solid back 4 that you can pick in, week out. So, great result. Back into the top 4. It's in our own hands. Win our last 5 remaining Premier League games, which, you know, we have got some tough games. You know, Wolves away from home, Leicester away from home, Crystal Palace at home, which we should be okay. You know, we've got some decent games coming up, and you know, all our remaining 5 Premier League games are winnable. They're not going to be easy, but they are winnable, and that would get us a Champions League place for next season, and that's if we don't get into the Europa League, and that is where we turn our attention to next, because we face Napoli away from home, and even though we've got a 2-goal advantage, that tie certainly is not done yet. So in regards to the Premier League, we've got Palace at home on Easter Sunday. Now, I may do a match review for Thursday. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be watching the game here, if I'm going to be out and about watching the game. If I'm out and about watching the game, then I will cover the Napoli game in my match review that I will do on Sunday for Arsenal against Crystal Palace. If I do watch the game here, then obviously I'll do a match review, so stay tuned. And I think I'm going to leave Analyse and Arsenal there for you guys today. So I really hope you've enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and check out my great content as well. And until next time, this is Ginger signing out. Take care, and I shall see you all very, very, very soon. Take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.